What is going on? Welcome back to Trending Stocks. Today we're going to talk to you about SoFi. Give you a quick overview of some of the data points, what's really been moving it, and go over everything else you need to know. But first, make sure to hit that thumbs up. And with that, let's get right to it. So SoFi was able to pull a green today, up 0.51%. A lot of volatility though, so kind of all over the place. $7.65 the low, so bouncing off of a very strong support, and then $7.86 the high. Very weird that it did actually run up into pretty much power hour when you do have unemployment numbers coming out tomorrow. So I would have anticipated some last minute fears unless people are acting on some other information, but similarly, there was a lot of abnormal options as well. So I'm going to talk on that in a second, but as far as data points today, you did have initial jobless claims, 225, the actual 222, the forecast. So not the best, but it didn't really influence this right here. So the likelihood of a 50 basis point cut for November the 7th, still sitting in the 30s or mid 30s. So 36.7% right now. No actual news from SoFi today. There was news that did come out yesterday. Regrettably, I was unable to do a SoFi video, but generally this is good. And in my opinion, I know it does state potentially, so potential rebound in 2025. It kind of signals maybe SoFi does see like this being the bottom in the broader market. That's just my own opinion, but typically you do see a uptick in IPOs when the market has bottomed. So once again, you can kind of read between the lines, but I think no matter what, this is going to be very profitable for SoFi. Bigger picture. Aside from that though, shorts did return 462,000 shares. 17.58% of the free float is being shorted. Works out to be 183.91 million shares. Cost to borrow average is 0.6%. So yeah, the fact that shorts did return when there is a lot of available shares kind of shows that they do see more upside with SoFi. And tomorrow's going to be a very big day with the unemployment rate, so that could cause some volatility. So just anticipate shorts to be relatively active, but looking at options, 5.49 million in calls, 2.6 million in puts. Just between 230 and 235, there was 2.7 million in premiums that was done. So I kind of looked at it to see briefly what it was all about. And it looks like $8 puts and $8 calls. So 1.48 million on the puts and then 1.24 million on the calls. So and as far as expiry date, November the 15th. So someone is somewhat hedging for SoFi's upcoming earnings. So yeah, kind of a interesting play. Aside from that, a couple of $1,000 premium transactions, and so those are generally bullish. So yeah, I always like to analyze what is happening with options. Although it is merely a sentiment and doesn't actually move the stock price, still nonetheless very important to kind of look at. But of the call options that were purchased today, you do see a consensus for it to be kind of around that $8 range for this week and possibly $8.50 by the following weeks. Encumbering SoFi's earnings, you kind of see it around that 850-ish somewhat for that. And then looking at the puts, you do see a consensus for it to be sub 750, and oddly you saw roughly around 1,000 at that 650. But we already do know with tomorrow being Friday, this is the current open interest on the calls. So 4,000 at that 750, 32,000 at the 8, and 19,000 at the 850. So if it does have a good rebound due to the unemployment numbers, then yeah, it might struggle a little bit with 8. But yeah, I know we'll just have to wait and see. Big money wasn't really getting in as much as I would have liked. So after hours, quite a lot of big transactions. So 5.78 million, 1.06, 14.5. Throughout the trading day though, you did see a lot of buying, especially during power hour. So all these transactions right here are all buys. So some entities, like I said, they might be very optimistic on tomorrow, but it wasn't actually just with SoFi. So you saw SoFi run up, Lucid run up, just the broader market, a lot of growth stocks really moving higher. So yeah, I think generally there is a lot of optimism in the broader market. But as of right now, with it closing at $7.83, it is trading between these 2 points, so this S1 and the pivot. $7.89 is that next strong resistance / target that you'll want to watch for SoFi to get above tomorrow. And then as far as the support, $7.68, which is around that 200-day moving average for the most part. It did bounce bounce off of that general area, and I believe that this is the kind of the second time it did bounce off of that. So yeah, I think generally very good support. Just I think it'll all come down on to the numbers tomorrow on what does happen. No new analyst ratings, nothing along those lines really did come out today. So yeah, I think the countdown does begin for SoFi's earnings, which as of right now, just to give you a good overview, I'll do a little bit more of a deeper dive closer to the date, but you do see 7 positive and 0 negative revisions for the earnings per share over the last 90 days. So this is pretty much the most optimistic analysts as a consensus have been for SoFi's earnings. But on the actual chart itself, today it was able to transition from the lower to the higher percentile and still above a lot of the key pivotal moving averages. Stochastic though, you do see it at roughly 33. So because of all the consolidation that's been happening, it reset the technicals. So again, I know I said this now probably for the third time, if the data is good tomorrow, that might be a true indication of the bottom being in. And then essentially right now you do see a bearish deviation. Number of retail investors didn't have the same optimism as big institutions today, or based on the options as well. It looks like retail was kind of selling out for whatever reason. So if that was you, let me know your thoughts. Did you guys take profits? Did you not? Like, what's your guys' thoughts on all that? And did you guys do any options? I'm still holding my $8 calls that I did sell. I don't know if that's going to come to burn me tomorrow. You win some, you lose some, but yeah, last minute I might have to cut them if it does run close to that $8 range. So we'll just have to wait and see. And like I said, when it comes down to analyzing shorts, the fact that shorts have returned over the last 2 days, in my opinion, is relatively optimistic and maybe signaling that they again do see more upside with SoFi. So don't forget to hit that thumbs up and subscribe. Let me know your thoughts overall with SoFi. And I know it might be kind of a interesting point, but what is your thoughts on the unemployment rate? So 4.2 is the current forecast. Again, the reason why it is very important is because Powell did state that the labor market is absolutely key. Everyone and their dog is going to be really watching this. And aside from, I guess, unemployment, you do have payroll, but payroll right now forecast 148, but I think everyone, like I said, is really going to be watching this data. So don't forget to hit that thumbs up. And with all that said, appreciate all of you guys watching.